What's happening, YouTube? Slender Revolution X here, coming to you guys with another episode of my segment Pack Attack. And for this episode, I had to jump forward. I don't really have any cards to show you guys or anything, and I had to jump forward because of all the hype that Shadow Spectres is getting. And the card I wanted to profile in this is Pot of Duplicity, which is the new pot of coming out. It's getting a lot of hype coming out of that pack. A lot of mixed emotions about that card, and people saying it's awesome, people saying it's broken, people saying it's terrible. So I wanted to shed my opinion on it, shed a little light on it, and touch on a few things. My opinion, this card is absolutely not broken. Not saying it's terrible, but it is not a broken card. And it also doesn't mean that Pot of Avarice is getting banned. I hear a lot of people saying that this is going to be the replacement for Pot of Avarice. Why? Please tell me why. Because Pot of Avarice isn't used in any of the top decks right now. You might see it splashed in, I don't even know, like maybe Dragons, but, I mean, Pot of Avarice saw its heyday during Plants, when you could go in and turn 1, end up with 5 cards in your graveyard, and get that +1 off of Pot of Avarice turn 1. That's awesome. Like, and since Plants are completely irrelevant right now, with Lone Fire being at 1, and Glow Up Ball being banned, it's not getting banned, but that's a whole other topic altogether. So why Pot of Duplicity is not broken? It has to be used during your main phase 1. First thing you do in this turn is use this card. Hopefully you have the 3 cards of the different types that you need to return to your deck. And then you draw 2, which is cool. By all means, that +1 is an awesome, awesome advantage. But then you also have to skip your battle phase. So essentially, you are giving up your entire turn to draw this +1, or draw those 2 cards, put those cards back in your deck, which isn't bad by no means. And I wanted to look at another card that's kind of like that to kind of give you guys some insight on it, and that is Card D. But the thing with Card D is it's used in a lot of OTK decks. Look at Heretics. Turn 1 Card D in that deck is awesome. You get that +1, odds are you're going to go off next turn. But the reason that Pot of Duplicity isn't going to be used is the fact that it, especially in that deck, is they're all dragons. And with this having to be different types, that's really, 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 really hard. You look at a lot of decks, none of the top decks can use it, unless you count hand traps. But to me, that's, I mean, you look at Maxi being an insect, Effect Veiler being a spellcaster, Gorz being a fiend, Tragodia is, I think, a fiend. But, like, I wouldn't want to count those in those 3 cards going back in. Like, I wouldn't want that to be the reason I put that in my main deck. But I was looking at a couple other decks that were possible. Glads are possible, but my thing with that is you're not going to have a lot of cards in your graveyard with Glads. If you're doing well, you're not going to have a lot of cards, because they're going to be recycled back into your deck. Windups? Windups is not seeing nearly as much playability with Magician at 1. I mean, you look at how many weeks it's been since that deck has topped at all, has done well at all. And Lightsworn, I was looking at Lightsworn, yeah, that's okay, because you've got Warriors, Spellcasters, Beasts, Dragons, like, that's not a bad thing, but a lot of times you want those cards in your graveyard. You want those Beasts in your graveyard, and those Warriors, and any of the Lightsworn monsters, you want that up because JD is your powerhouse. And even in that deck, I would run Beckoning Light over Pot of Duplicity anyway. So, basically, all in all, it might be an okay card. It's definitely not broken in my opinion, but jury is still out. I mean, you see a lot of cards like this that come out. People think it's broken, it isn't good. People think it's meh, and it turns out being a good card. But we're not really going to be able to see that until playability starts with it. And that doesn't come out until probably the beginning of next year. So we still have Judgment of Light to look forward to, so don't get all hyped about the pack that's not even scheduled to be out in America yet. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys some insight. In my opinion, not broken, might be okay, but I don't want to make room in a deck for a card that might be okay. That's my opinion on it. It's like, I don't want to reserve a spot for a card that might be okay. The jury's still out on that I'm not even sure about. And you might not, I mean, turn 1 you draw that, you're not going to be able to use it. There's no way. What are you going to use before that that's going to give you that ability, right? Like, it's not even possible. So, that's my opinion on it, guys. Leave a comment, subscribe to join the revolution today, and I will see you guys next time. High five.